This is the place.
If you have an
You're
aunt in
bringing
another
us in
city,
here.
Christianity, I
you're the
think,
one that makes sure she
as I
gets
speak
her
to,
food
is
and
help
stuff
people
sent from
build. Like
Costco.
when I
This is
was
what
You're a
it's
21,
caregiver. You're
about.
providing
22.
care to somebody.
Hello and welcome to the A.R. Bernard Show. I'm your host, A.R. Bernard. This week I had the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with a man who's very dear to my heart. His name is Evangelist Nicky Cruz. There have been books written about him, movies made about his life, but the most important thing is the impact he's had on my life. Yeah, I'm being selfish. The man was used by God to change my life. His life is phenomenal and our journey together is phenomenal. We got to talk about all of those things, and you don't want to miss that conversation. So join me as we enter a conversation between me and Evangelist Nicky Cruz. I'm going to introduce to my audience the fact that you are my spiritual father. You were the one that prayed me into the kingdom of God 50 years ago. I'm celebrating the 50th anniversary of my conversion to Christianity, and that transformational moment that you were a very, very special part of. But let's go back. We're going to cover The Cross and the Switchblade, the book, the movie that was done with David Wilkerson being portrayed by Pat Boone, and your spiritual journey. But the deeper roots and conversation is your birth, your upbringing, which really became the launching pad for the incredible work that you've done in the faith for more than, 50, 60 decades now? Six decades, yeah?
62
62
years.
62
That's correct.
years. So your background, Nicky, was not Christian. I mean, you were probably familiar with Christianity in some way, but it's not like you grew up in a Christian home, had Christian influences or anything like that. Tell us about your early childhood, your coming into this world. It was a very unique situation.
I didn't know about Christianity. My family never practiced those things, so I didn't have no concept of who Jesus Christ was and is. I remember that I grew up in a very supernatural, diabolic environment. And my father and my mother were very deep, well respected in the witchcraft. And what bothered me is that when you began to look everything flashback, that you had to face the painful truth. The truth is that I knew after my conversion that everyone, my father, my mother that worshiped the devil, and my brothers and my sister, just one, we all was destined to go to hell. I began to understand that later on, but I didn't have no concept of who the Bible or Jesus Christ and who he was. And we saw so many supernatural manifestations of demons and devil and healing in the name of Satan. And I watched one, Cocky, myself, and Felix. We were sneaking to see what my father was doing, and then put this guy on top of this table, and my father was in one side and my mother in the other side. My mother was the one who used to receive the spirit or whatever, and she began to, in detail, tell everything about that person. And from there, my father became with the power. And I remember that they brought this man very sick, and some way, somehow, we got scared. We saw little frog coming out from the stomach of this man and hit the wall live from the stomach without no operation. Hit the wall and fall dead. And then...
Wait. Because there are people who don't believe in these things. They cannot imagine. They think of witchcraft as, Hollywood. They think of sorcery. They think of these
No,
kinds of things
no.
not legitimate.
Those little eyes.
Something you saw,
Yes, and my brother.
Your-
And my brother.
you were eyewitness.
These eyes saw exactly. I didn't know nothing about this until, really, until 12 years ago when somebody said, you look in the book of Revelation, and they talk about the frog coming out from the mouth. And that's when I began, because I say, well, that's scary, but in this time is.
But there are those who say that.
But I didn't know.
But there are those who will say that that's not to be taken literally. That's just, symbol and figures of speech. So they say, well, that's symbolic. But you're still talking about something that you witnessed physically.
Yes, I was 8 years old. And I never forget things like that. I never forget the beating that my mother gave me. I never forget the beating that my father gave me. And all of this, and the words that was speak against my soul. And yes, I was completely into that kind of, I didn't walk in, I was born into this. And my father was a very strong man. And my brothers, it was 17 brothers and one sister. We was raised in that environment when supernatural stuff took place, when shot came from everywhere, when there's a space when it belonged to the devil. And today you can call my nephew or everything. He was scaring from one place less than a quarter of a mile that he possessed by the devil, and everyone used to run right away straight to my house. And that's something that I can never forget. And I was scared. I was fearful. We hear voices. I got choked up when I was a little boy by an invisible force that I didn't have the power, thinking that my father going to come and deliver me.
So wait a minute. I mean, invisible forces, you're experiencing legitimate physical interaction with these invisible forces. How old were you at the time?
Everything started since I was about 60 years old.
About 6 years old.
And my brothers, they knew, my oldest brother, they knew that our home, there was some evil forces. And,
Now, were they witnesses too?
Yeah, they witnesses.
All right, so it wasn't just you.
It wasn't me, it was
There
my
were others
brother.
seeing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. My brother, they just, either my sister became a witch. That spirit was very strong, a stronghold. And people used to come either from Brooklyn, from many of the island to meet with my father. And I saw my father literally tell this person, your name is this and you come from this place. And I describe the street, Hoyt Street, the address and all of these things. And the man, he couldn't believe it. But you see, this is something that when you're in darkness, you don't see nothing. Your mind is fogged in.
Right. You're blinded.
You're blinded.
Yeah.
So it began to be manifested in me when I was 12.
So, but you had.
9 years old. Excuse me.
But you had no reference point. It's not like you could compare your context to something else. This is all you knew. You were born into this. This is what you were growing up in. Was there ever a sense inside of you that something was wrong?
Yes. One time, my father, that we remember, lay down on the sofa for 3 days dead. What he was doing, he was connecting with 7 spirits. 6 of them that was have commands. The one that you cannot get into, it was Lucifer, Satan. If you look at Santeria, you began to look all this sacrifice and all of these and animals, all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So my father was involved in all those things. And he did believe that he was powerful.
And you saw him demonstrate.
And I saw him, and it was a man that you was afraid of him. Men used to be afraid of him.
Mm.
He was known by that, how powerful. And you don't mess around with my dad.
And this was the family that God brought you into. I mean, you were preaching at our church and you made a comment that, God decided to birth you in the womb of a witch. That's a very powerful statement, because when you think about where you are today and who you are, when it comes to light and faith and God and all of that, but you see it that he put you in that context, in that dark context, in anticipation of what he would do with you later.
But that's what I really thought. That's what really bothered me. All the things that my mother did and say, and the curse that she gave me, she really cursed me. And that's where it make an impact, because being a witch and you curse your son, and you don't understand why she didn't went against my other brothers. Why he went straight to me, to my soul. And when I began when she destroyed me, she hurt me when she told me, get out of my life, you're not my son, you're a son of the devil, and more other things. And I hate the day you was born. And a mother never talked that way. It broke my heart. It broke areas of my conscience that locked up. And
so in spite of the fact that she represents evil, you still needed her love. You still needed her acceptance. You still needed her affirmation.
Of course. Tell me of any child that is not searching or being loved. Give me love, and I will melt in your arms. And just.
So you.
So.
So, was there a point where she drew the line for you, and you said, "That's it. I'm going to stop searching for that love and affirmation from her"?
I hate her.
Hatred came in.
That hatred baptized me. And my father was black, my mother was a Spaniel, white, blue eyes, very attractive lady. And my father was the one who brought her into that. And now she's dedicated to my father, and he's the stronger voice. And I remember that you want to commit suicide. That's it. That as close that the devil took me, because I felt abandoned, rejected, lonely. Lonely, you have to be careful with that.
Right.
Loneliness is a very serious thing. And I cursed her. I don't want to see her anymore. I want to get out of her life. And when I tried to commit suicide, my brother was the one, and I told him. I was crying, and with my little hands, I went and I tried to dry my eyes.
How old were you?
In that time?
Yeah.
9 years old.
9 years old, you wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah.
You felt rejected and abandoned by your mother, and you felt the only way out of that situation was to take your life.
Take my life.
What happened?
It was my brother that screamed when I was going through the process of hanging myself. And I was crying. And he tried to get some words, and he couldn't believe it. When you try to say something and you can't, until he screamed, "No!" And he started crying, "No, no, 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 don't do it, don't do it." And then he came and grabbed me. And I just went like this with my eyes and with my little hands, and I said, I hate her. I'm going to give her to decide whatever she wants. And I'm never going to cry again, and I'm never going to love again. That's out. And then what happened was that I left.
Mm-hmm.
I really left. And that was something that I never expected. And I came to New York, to a lonely city. A city that it was a jungle that was full of lions. And they're gonna devour me. Devour me, that's the bottom line. So either I had to be one of them, either had to be one of the animals. This was a jungle. And everything, there's a law. The law of the jungle, you behave like an animal. Animal, he don't know the difference between right and wrong. And my feeling was gone.
What year was this?
It was in the early 50s.
We had gangs, gang violence. There was a lot of turmoil within the city.
That's right.
Of New York at the time. And that's the context that you walked into here.
That was my new family.
Wow.
I was confronted by this gang called the Mammals, which it was strong. And they surrounded me, and I was in a place of suicide. I didn't care if the police killed me. I didn't care, whatever. You lost that kind of feeling. And it was Israel, who was the vice president of the gang.
The Mammal gang.
Of the Mammals, and then he became the leader. And he became my best friend. I said, go ahead. Go ahead. Do it. So I said, wow, that's the guy we need.
You didn't care. Nothing.
I didn't care. So I joined them. And there was a lot of ugly things. There was innocent people who got killed. Mm-hmm. It was a fight for territory, what we call turf. And we went and did whatever we have to do. And I remember that I used to steal rob, hold up, to keep my place. I have a place that I used to pay $15.
You had to rob to pay the rent.
I had to rob. Yeah. I had no problems with that. And sometimes I feel terrible that I did it. I never attack all people. That the gangs, we don't believe in those days. You don't touch them. They're like a mother, like a grandmother, the neighborhoods, regardless. That's the code of
code of conduct.
The conducts, and I did it, and Israel was so close to me. He just died 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yes, Israel. He died with the Lord.
And you guys were in touch with each other?
Yeah, he came to my house. I told Israel, I want to see you. He used to live in Washington State, and I sent him the tickets back and forth and giving some money. He was hurting. And he spent 4 days with me. We eat together, we laugh. Gloria treated him so well.
Oh, yeah.
And
your wife, Gloria.
My wife, Gloria. And he left, I hugged him. And a week and a half, he died.
Wow. Life made full circle.
I'm glad I saw him.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's going to be in heaven. He loved the Lord.
So he ended up converting.
Oh, he'd been converted for a long time.
That's right, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a break here for a moment, and we're going to come back and pick up from the tail end of the gang situation and what led up to your conversion.
Okay.
All right? All right. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right. So you decide you needed to get out of that home environment. You go to New York City. Now you find a new family, the Mau Mau gang. You meet up with Israel, who becomes a leader. And I'm sure there's violence. There is, in fact, at that time, drugs. I mean, there's everything imaginable. And all of a sudden, you meet up with someone that challenges you. And now I'm talking about the cross and the switchblade. I'm talking about David Wilkerson and that encounter. Before we go to where David comes into your life, was there anything happening that gave you the impression that something was coming, either your death or something else?
I think I honestly believe that the day that my mother, I really died when I was 12 years old. I'll be honest to you. The only thing I was waiting to be killed or die when I was 19 or 20 years, if I can live that long. And I accept the fact that I was living dangerous. In those days, it seemed that you believe that life is, that you're immortal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're gonna live forever.
Forever, and you don't see the consequences. You see the moment that you think that you're in control of everything, and you're not. And I got busted. I got caught so many times. I don't know if you know that place in Brooklyn, in Atlantic Avenue. They have detention for young people. I was number 20 that got busted to initiate. That was to us was the hotel, and then in that time, I was committing holdups and things like that, and we didn't allow to use heroin because when you're in the gangs, you fighting that territory that was long is like a nation to you because that's a sense of pride. This is my place, this is my nation, this is my territory, and there's nobody else. We're gonna fight for whatever we have to fight, and we become philosophers in our own ignorance.
So drugs were off the table.
If the heroin. The other was marijuana and pills and things like that.
No heroin. And that was a major problem at that time.
That's the beginning of revolution. And I think by 62 I was converted already. There was a revolution of heroin in New York and all over the country. And that's what I began to realize that when I was in the gangs, we kicked 2 guys out of the gangs. Yes, you have to, and we never accept any abuse, because when I came out from jail, there's a guy came in and infiltrated a territory. And he began to hit these old ladies. And I just came in and then told me. And I said, who is this guy that came in and touched our turf? So he said, he come and he played dice. And then he became in control. In 4 days that I was locked up. And then I say, I want to see this guy. He disrespect Doña Fela. Doña Fela is the mother of our neighborhood that did it. So he came, and I saw he came, like, I'm taking over, and I have a bottle of whiskey full, and we start playing dice. I didn't have no money. He said, let's go 20. So they gave me the 20 to me. And I lost. I said double. And I lost that 40. And then he told me, give me the money. I said, no. I want to tell you something. You came into my turf, you understand? And you hit one of our mother here. Who do you think you are? Do you know who I am? So I'm going to show you who I am. And I hit him right with the thing broken on the front of his head, front head. And then the guy, somebody took it and said, that's Nicky. You came in and you don't know, because we used to, our gang hang around across the park.
Fort Greene.
Fort Greene, yeah. So anyway, I realized that was my nature.
Yeah. This is who you were.
But we didn't believe in rape. We have our code of ethics. You don't come, a lot of people don't know that. But we want to fight. We love to fight. I love the knife. I love the gun.
Yeah.
I like to confront. I like. One time I want to throw myself in front of the train. Because I was in drugs or marijuana or pills or alcohol. It's that I felt this voice. Throw yourself in front of it.
Take your life.
Take your life. This was serious. And in my place, I have nightmare. My mother, I hate you. You're not my son. Get out of my life. All those nightmares laughing on me. Like, I destroy you.
Wow. So even though you move yourself out of the environment with your mother and your father,
Yes.
have this new family, the past still haunts you.
Haunt me.
Wow.
But you know what? Pastor Bernard, I honestly believe that through all those nightmares and all of that, you can never, some way, I want to make this clear, the gangs can never replace the heart of a mother, the lips of a kiss of a mother, a father, the structures of strength and discipline, your brother, your sister, your uncles, your cousin. The gang can never replace that. That is already inside, regardless how low you are in this life.
That's amazing. So even a pseudo family really couldn't replace the need for a real family, a legitimate family.
Yes.
So tell us about the days leading up to your encounter with David Wilkerson.
I came out from jail. I remember that I played stupid when the judge called my name, and I had to face the judge. And then I said, yo no sé nada, yo no sé nada, nada.
I know nothing, yeah.
No sé. And then the judge, some way, brought somebody to interpreter, and he said, you lie. You lie, okay, but I want to tell you. And the person said, and you know what happens if you don't lie. So the person lied.
They're telling you to lie.
And then that's when I was locked up, and then it's about 4 days, and then I committed hold up, and that's when some way, somehow, things began to change. We committed hold up, and 2 or 3 days later, somebody was standing in the corner screaming, God had the power to change your life. And I was about 3 blocks down with my girlfriend, and I saw these people running toward this specific corner, and I told my girl, hey, what's up? What's the matter here? Something's wrong. Why everybody running? So she say, hey, come on, Nicky, somebody got killed. That's when people, that's when people get happy here in New York. And I said, no, I want to go. And she didn't want to come. And we used to have those signals. When I said you come, you come. And when I said you go to the guys. And when I went like this to the guy, she don't want to go. When I went like this, I don't have to say anything more. Let's go. Yeah. So we start running, and then there's these people around this man, and they was close to 200 or 3. No, I don't know. And I heard this guy say, God had the power to change your life. And then I say, oh, come on, you shut up. There's no God. We are God. We are the mammals. We are the people. We got the power. Nobody can come against us. And then that was like a political speech. And then he got quiet, said, you shut up. And then I started pushing the people. I want to see this guy. Pastor Bernardi, you're not going to believe God used the insignificant. These guys don't belong there. He's from the countryside where there's a lot of cows. He walking with all his cows to the jungle of lions. They're going to devour him. They're going to devour the cows, everything. So then I want to see him. That's something never forget. And I start pushing the people, and then face to face. You. Look at you. Look at that. You're skinny. You're skinny. Spaghetti. I'm talking to it. Look at you. Look at you. You have those thick glasses. Can you see me? I'm serious. Can you see me? Yeah. Look at the way you're dressing. A black suit, a white shirt with a tiny, tiny tie. This is not a funeral. Because I thought it was that's a preacher go to funeral like that. And he got scared. And I pushed him and I spit at him. And then what you gonna say? Huh? He was nervous. He said, I came over here to tell you Jesus loves you, Nicky. I said, what? Then I start cursing him. And then he screamed at me. Listen, if you want to kill me, go ahead, kill me. I know you can kill me. Kill me. Loud. And the people will listen. Go ahead and kill me. I know you can do it. Kill me. Nicky, you can kill me and cut me in 1,000 pieces. Throw them right there on the streets. But remember, every little piece will arise and cry out to you that Jesus loved you. And I went like this. I said, oh, no. I went like this. Oh. come on, let's get out of here.
Yeah, what's wrong with this guy?
This guy is crazy. And I went 2 weeks, and that was the day. And it was the day I wasn't expected. There was about 2,000 people that came to.
Now, this was in a meeting that you set up.
Yes, it was a set-up meeting.
Where was this meeting? It was in New York.
New York, Manhattan, St. Nicholas Arena.
Was that Manhattan Center?
Yeah, it was for wrestlers. Wrestling and
Okay.
And all of that. And
So 2,000 people show up.
a lot of Puerto Ricans. At that time, there were a lot of Puerto Ricans.
Right.
Yes,
right.
and blacks and some white people. And Wilkerson was naive. I tell you, Pastor, he was naive. He brought 12 different gangs, enemy,
Into the meeting.
into the meetings. And you know Dracula gonna drink, he gonna drink lots of blood. And we was arms. And he asked her to collect the offering. He was naive, telling bunch of thieves.
Collect an
the offering
from the
yes.
audience. The gang members.
Yes, gang member. He challenged me. And I said, oh, this guy, what's the matter with this guy? He's so dumb. Telling a bunch of thieves to collect the offering. And then give us those big empty baskets because I took 4 guys and myself, 5. And then give us the empty basket. It was that big. And we start going to the people, cursing the Christians, cursing everything. I said, come on, put the money right now. That is not enough. Put more money.
Shake down.
Seriously. I think I never see the Holy Spirit working through the gangs. No, I never saw him. Now I was stupid. I was ignorant. And then I didn't like this guy. Well, Puerto Rican, tall, muscle. He used to show his muscle. I didn't like that. So Tico was planning to collect the offering, and he was close to him. I said, Tico, that guy's mine. I didn't like him. That guy's mine. So I went to him and said, put the money here. Throw the money. He opened the wallet, and he took $1, but I noticed that he got $20. So he threw the $1. So I took the $1 and I hit him in his chest. No, man. You know, I don't like you. And I want to tell you one thing. You're going to put the $20 right here, okay? He said, no, you are not God to tell me what to give. He got tough with me. You are not God to tell me what to give. I said, I am no God. I don't know where that God is. But I'll tell you one thing, if you don't put this money, I'm going to blow your brains out. The guy threw his wallet.
Of course, he's facing a firearm.
Not only the wallet, but the people were throwing wallet left and right all over that place. I'm sorry to tell you this, but it took place, and we collect the basket was full of wallets, and we didn't finish because it was packed, it was full. And then I say, this guy up there, I told the guys, he think that we are thieves. Tico said, Nicky, we are thieves. And I said, no, I'm going to double cross him. I'm going to give every penny to him to teach him a lesson. Look at this, how crazy I was. And I did. And that's when he said, thank you, Nicky. Then I came in, and I feel good that I did that. Because I went against the wall and I started talking to myself. Hey, I was talking to myself. I said, hey, Nicky, you're a nice guy, man. You're a nice guy. You give them
There's some redeeming qualities.
Yes, redeeming quality.
You know, it's amazing because you talked about David Wilkerson's naivete. You talked about your own degree of being naive at certain things, and yet somehow this is all being orchestrated as we look back by God, would you say?
Well,
In order to
got to
bring
bring the Holy
about
Spirit.
something. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
in
know
order to
nothing
bring
about
something.
that. The only thing I know about bad spirits.
Right, right, right.
So,
right. So what was the moment of conversion for you?
when
Was it that night or?
yes, that was that night. It was that night. It was when he began to talk about Jesus and the cross. And he began to talk about the crucifixion of Jesus, something that I never heard about it. And then I went like this because he described it so well, what they did to Jesus Christ. The abuse, the beating, there was no attraction, there was no way of recognizing the way they beat him. And that's when I went like this. Man, those people are mean, they're bad. This guy, Jesus Christ, he deserved life. Me, I'm talking to myself. I deserve the electric chair. It's good and bad. I recognize that. Why then do that to him? I want to go in that time back to the future
Yeah.
and be there to defend Jesus with the mammals. Look at how my mind. And then he says he died. He gave his life. He never complained. He got a purpose in his life for you. He will be all right in his Father's hands. But he just left everything just for you, Nicky, because he loves you.
Wow. He painted a picture in a way that Jesus became real to you.
Real.
I mean, not just some religious belief, but a real person engaged in a real situation that you could identify with. And what was the next step? I mean, how did you respond?
Well, he challenged me. He said, Nicky, let me pray for you. And I said, no. I moved my lips. No. Israel, he screamed, hey, preacher, I want you to pray for me. I said, Israel, you are crazy. You are crazy. You embarrassed the gang. He said, Nicky, we all gonna get killed, especially you. You crazy. I know you. You crazy. You're gonna get killed. I'm gonna get killed. This guy is right. Let's go. Let him pray for us. I said, so you go by yourself. I ain't not going to. That guy's crazy. It's just two. He stood up and challenged me. He said, come on, Nicky, come on. You're my best friend. You're a brother to me. Come on. I said, Israel, are you afraid to go by yourself? If you're afraid to go by yourself, I go with you. And I went, and 25 guys and the girlfriend follow us. And that night, I never had seen something got to be the Holy Spirit for ignorant people like us and violent people like us. The guy began to fall on their knees without anybody touch them. And they start crying, moaning, groaning, loud. And I went like this. I saw a guy by the name of Carlos El Gago. He was mute, Carlos. The only word that he said loud, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. He was a tongue-tire. Jesus, Jesus, help me. And that, I began to say, something wrong here. Something is wrong. And the girl was hugging the guys, something, and crying and crying. The whole place was a valley of tears. And then that's when I put my head down, and then I went up and I wanted to see Israel, and I hit him. Israel, I hit him on his chest. And when I saw him, he was drowned in tears. And I said, Israel, do you believe in that? He said, yes. That's okay. You don't laugh about your friend. That's okay. Then I felt so lonely. I lost my best friend, and then I started kicking the
Now
floor.
you lost Israel.
Yeah, I lost Israel, and I started kicking the floor to distract myself. And then that's when the tears began to come in. And that's when I have pain in my chest, and my heart wanted to come out. It was like my heart was pressed through my ribs, and the pain was strong, and I fall on the floor on my knees. And that was when I recognized that I need help. And I didn't know how to pray. And then Wilkerson said, Jesus is all over you, Nicky. Open up, open your heart, he loves you. And then it took me a little longer when I said, Jesus Christ, I don't know who you are. This man said that you love me. Do you know something, Jesus Christ? I don't love you. I don't. And I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know what is inside of me. And then I began to say the words that he was expecting from me to say. Do you love me? Do you really love me? And my mother going through my mind and all of these things. And the fight started for my soul. He said, do you really love me? I don't know how to love. But that night, I didn't believe in love. I wasn't looking for love. But love found me. And
Wow.
and it was the most precious moments of my life. He cleansed me. I really felt it. I felt that he took that evil on my mind and softened my heart, and I just surrender. And because I did that, look at this. God placed me in the wounds of a witch to go to hell, and the devil lost.
Yeah.
The devil lost. Because in that moment, it was more profound what is going to happen. My life became an inspiration to my family. My mother gave her heart to Jesus. I brought my mother to Jesus.
Wow.
We had the best relationship. I was in Poland, Warsaw, Poland, and my mother was dying, and she all my family went around him and said, I want my Nicky. I used to kiss her, she used to kiss me. All of those things.
We'll be right back. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more of our interview with Evangelist Nicky Cruz. You know, Nicky, we have this conversation. We're two men here, and yet we need a little tissue, just a little. Because these things, when they're real, when they're transformative, when they're that deep and profound that took place in you, because my story comes from your story.
That's right.
It's as fresh as if it happened yesterday. It's that real, it's that tangible. Here it is for me, 50 years later, that I am walking in this Christian faith because of an encounter that I had with you, similar that you had with David Wilkerson. I did not follow the same path that you did, But it was that very strategic moment in my life and in history that God brought you and I together the way he brought you and David Wilkerson together.
Yes.
So let's just go back to that moment. You experienced this transformational moment. Your whole world changes, and now you have to learn. You have to understand the context that you're in now. Like you, I didn't have language for it. I knew nothing about Christianity and the faith and all the terminology or anything like that. It was a whole new discovery for me. And we got condensed this into 10 minutes. But that moment was not just a conversion for you as an individual. It was a call, a summons into a much greater and expansive experience of sharing this encounter with millions and millions of people that have responded because of the power, because your message is simple. It's profound in terms of its impact, but the simplicity of the message of Jesus' love for humanity, and a person like you who had been birthed into such dark circumstances, and how out of that evil, good can come, and that good can spread around the world, and then give birth to other people.
Exactly.
Myself. Wow. Absolutely amazing. So you went into ministry, you made a decision that God's call upon you was to evangelize and not do other things. There was books, there was movies. It's been 62 years
Yes.
of this. Give us very quickly some of the high points and low points, because it's not like just because you surrendered to this call, this ministry, that everything was wonderful. You still had to go through a process of growth and development.
And you have to be careful that you think, I did it in my own. I'm not Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.
Yeah.
I did it through Jesus' way. And of course, if I want to be honest to you, and that's going to come to history, that I have spoke to more than 50 million people just with my voice. No movies, no magazines, and
50 million people over 62 years. Wow.
And over.
And this is around the world.
Around the world, different languages. And still I have my accent that you can tell. And I don't know, I'm just a miracle that I can communicate. But I'm a different type of speaker. I'm a relaxed type of people. I'm like wisely people. And I come with things that people say that I can get away.
Yeah, get away with it.
Some people don't. And the only thing is two things. I never put money, and I never collect offering, and that was forbidden for me from Christ himself in a prayer. I don't want you to ask for anything. So fine. So you say, how in the world I survive? I've been in crusade that an evangelist has spent $500,000, and I spend $32,000 to have more people, because the people today, they're looking for reality, and they're looking for they're skeptical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very skeptical.
Very skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? My greatest moment that I spent in a teen challenge 3 years with my wife. I was virgin in my heart. Virgin. Everything that I want is to bring people to Jesus, and people took advantage of that.
Yeah.
People took advantage of that.
Yeah.
But you know something? That don't bother me. What happiness and joy is that, because there's a difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is for a car, for a girlfriend, or for whatever. But joy, that's eternal, forever. And for that reason, I'll tell you that much. I'm the most happy human being that you can meet, because I don't have no baggage to carry. My heart it is, and God has supplied all my needs, took care of all my children and my grandchildren. And I have friends, and I got you as an inspiration to my life. God is good.
Yeah.
God is so beautiful. I'm telling you, there's nothing like him. He loved us so much, and he loved Nicky Cruz, and Nicky Cruz loved Jesus.
Wow. You know, I will tell you, at a time where religion can become tradition, ritual, and we just go through the motions, at a time when there is public skepticism, where young people are turning away from the institution of Christianity and the institutional church, the organized church, they're still looking for purpose. They're still looking for meaning. But I think what you captured here, and you have brought for 62 years of ministry, and I hope that I have brought, you know, as well for the 4 decades, is an authenticity, a genuineness. They want what's real. They want what's authentic. They want what's genuine in a person's relationship with God. And that makes a difference.
Of course. I remember you had to deal with your ups and downs.
Yeah.
You have to deal with all this emotion that come like a wave. Like I say, sometimes you feel the wind behind you, but you don't know if you're going to end up in the ocean. So you got to realize that without Christ, I cannot make it. My marriage could not make it. We have been married for 63 years,
wow.
and that can show something in marriage,
Right.
because a lot of people say for better and for no good.
Until something happens. For better until something happens to make it worse, right?
So no.
You know, and you know, those of you who are tuned into the podcast, I look forward to this interview. It was January 11, 1975, that I was in a church building, and this man was the guest speaker, and he made an exception to come to New York, to Brooklyn, because, you know, he didn't have plans. He was speaking to thousands of people, and now to come to Brooklyn, to this little church, but God knew that I would be there.
Hallelujah.
And you were the chosen vessel to speak that word, and the anointing that he placed upon you to communicate to me, because that night I converted. I experienced that transformation and began a whole new journey. And to be here to sit with you and to hear your story and to have this kind of connection is just a special thing. And I want to emphasize, which is something we don't usually do on this podcast. We have conversations about politics, social issues, you name it, and spirituality. But today, this is special because I invite you into my private space, to my personal space, to the personal space of this man who was the agent of God to transform me. And now that's gone to my children. It's gone to my grandchildren and yours as well. Nicky, I've got to have you back. I need you to live for another 30 years because I have to have you back.
Oh, easy.
Because we got to talk about the state of affairs and what's happening in leadership, what's happening in the church world. But today, I really wanted people to connect with you, the person, with your experience, and also to appreciate that I'm a product of this man's journey, this man's encounter with God. And I encourage you that you hear what's said today and not take it lightly, and understand that we all have this hunger, this desire inside of us for meaning, for purpose, that only God can satisfy. Now, what you call God, who you call God, we're very specific on that. But I think if you're hungry for the truth, then you will be led to the truth. Not a truth, but the ultimate truth.
The truth.
Yeah. Which for us is a person.
It's a person.
And that person is Jesus Christ. Nicky, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for sharing from your heart. And thank you for joining us on the A.R. Bernard Show. We'll be back next time with another amazing guest, an incredible conversation right here. Until then, God bless.